He handed me a box at my mother's funeral, said it was from her, a box that should have stayed buried with her secrets. I opened it 3 days later and found out my father didn't drown by accident. My name is Noah Granger. I'm 35 now. I've spent the last 2 decades telling myself our family was just unlucky. We had money, not old money, but enough. We had a house big enough for secrets, and we had a mother who could make you feel invisible with just her eyes. My father, Thomas, died when I was 12. Fishing boat, bad storm, missing life jacket. That's what the papers said. I stood there on the dock, in my church shoes, clutching my sister's hand, while divers dragged the bay. My mother, Marion, didn't cry. Not once. I remember staring at her black gloves, perfectly clean, no salt water, no dirt under her nails. After that, the house went silent. My sister, Claire, and I learned to tiptoe around the echo. Marion ran everything with her smile, sharp as glass, soft as poison. She had dinners to host, charity galas to chair, stories to protect, and a locked study we weren't allowed to enter, not once in 20 years. We never spoke of my father again. 3 weeks ago, Marion died. Stroke. Quick, the housekeeper found her at the piano. I flew home before the paramedics even left the driveway. Claire got there the next day, red-eyed, shaking, asking me, "Do you think she knew it was coming?" As if Marion ever let anything surprise her. The funeral was exactly what she would have wanted. The right flowers, the right hymns, the right people whispering, "She was such a pillar." I stood there, same dock where we buried Dad, rain creeping into my collar, just like that day years ago. And that's when he came. Old man. Suit 2 sizes too big. Smelled like mothballs and secrets. Said he used to handle family business. He pressed a wooden box into my hand, walnut, heavy, no key. Said, "She wanted you to have this. Said you'd understand." I didn't. I left it in the trunk for 3 days. Didn't open it. Couldn't. Then one night, 2 beers deep, staring at Marion's framed portrait over the fireplace, I did. Inside was a stack of letters, yellowed, brittle, addressed to my father, all signed by the same name, Eleanor. I didn't know an Eleanor. The first line of the first letter, "You were right. She's poisoning you." I dropped the paper. My hands shook so bad I thought they'd break the box. I read them all. Every line. Eleanor, a woman my father was planning to run away with, and my mother knew. There were receipts, notes about Dad's heart pills that he never needed, bank slips showing transfers to an offshore account, a deed to a cabin upstate, a place I'd never heard of, and one final envelope. No letter inside, just a photo. Marion, in our kitchen, holding my father's fishing vest, in her hand, a razor blade. She'd cut the straps. I didn't sleep for days after that. Couldn't stand to look at Claire. I wanted to tell her, wanted to tear open this rotting family myth and show her the maggots underneath. But when I found her at Marion's desk, the one that was always locked, something inside me froze. She was on the phone, whispering. I only caught 4 words before she slammed the drawer shut. She looked at me, eyes wide, like I was the ghost this time. I asked her, "Who were you calling?" She said it was work. I asked her, "Did you know about Dad?" She laughed, thin, strained, and said, "You need sleep, Noah." I didn't sleep. I drove. To the cabin address from the deed, middle of nowhere, pines taller than secrets. The door was unlocked, like it was waiting. Inside, a table, 2 chairs, an old wood stove, and a second box. A note taped to the lid in my father's handwriting. "If you find this, you know the truth. Don't let her bury you too." Inside that box, bank ledgers, life insurance forms, proof Marion cashed out 3 policies the week after Dad drowned, and a tape recorder. Old, batteries barely alive. I pressed play. His voice. My father's voice, older, tired. He said, "Noah, if your mother ever lets you hear this, it means she's gone. You have to understand, I tried to leave. For you, for Claire. But she found out. She told me I'd never see you again. Said if I ran, she'd make sure you thought I abandoned you. So I stayed. And she killed me anyway." I sat there, frozen. My father's ghost pouring through a plastic speaker. He ended with, "Don't trust anyone, not even your sister." I stayed at that cabin for 2 days, reading, replaying that tape over and over until the voice cracked with static. Outside, the wind knocked pine cones onto the roof. Sharp little thuds that felt like knocks on my spine. I found more. An old notebook tucked under the floorboards. Dad's handwriting, messier this time. Lines about Eleanor, plans to take me and Claire. A page half-torn, edges burned. And a single note in the margin. If Claire chooses her, she's lost too. I slept on the old couch, gun in my pocket, found it taped under the table, wrapped in a plastic bag. When I finally left, dawn turned the trees silver. I drove back slowly, thinking, rehearsing what to say to Claire. When I got home, the locks were changed. Claire answered through the door, calm, sugar-sweet. "You shouldn't be here, Noah." I could smell smoke, paper burning. I kicked the door in, found her in the living room, fire crackling in the fireplace, the letters, the photos, my father's words curling into ash. She didn't scream, didn't fight, just watched me like Marion used to. Cold, pitying. She said, "It was always you who couldn't let it die." I asked her, "How long have you known?" She shrugged. "Long enough." That's when I realized it was never just Marion. It was always both of them. Claire was her reflection, her heir. I left. Took the tape, the notebook, the gun. I'm not going to the police. What would they do? Drag the bay again? Arrest ghosts? No. I'm going to finish it myself. I sold the house, drained the accounts, left Claire with the ashes she earned. Tomorrow I'll find Eleanor. If she's alive, if she's not, I'll bury what's left of the Morettis once and for all. My name is Noah Granger, and if you're watching this on Dark Ties, you already know the ending. I didn't drown, not like him.